language. Java is an object-oriented programming language. Java is an object-oriented programming language. First of all, what is an object-oriented programming language? OOPL. Java is an object-oriented programming language. First, what is an object-oriented programming language? Note down. A language that supports all principles of an object-oriented programming. A language that supports all principles of an object-oriented programming is known as an object-oriented programming language. A language that supports all principles of an object-oriented programming is known as an object-oriented programming language. If any language that supports all the principles, then that language is called object-oriented programming language. What are the principles? Note object-oriented principles. Object-oriented principles. In short, OOPS. Object-oriented principles. First one, encapsulation. Second one, abstraction. Third one, inheritance. Fourth one, polymorphism. First one, encapsulation. Second one, abstraction. Third one, inheritance. Fourth one, polymorphism. Object-oriented principles. Object-oriented principles, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Four principles are there. If any language that supports these four principles, then that language is called object-oriented programming language. Okay. Here, some books, if you open, you'll get a 5 principles, 6 principles, 7 principles, 8 principles also. But according to object-oriented analysis and design, standard principles only 4. Standard principles only 4. Data binding, it is not a separate principle, it is a part of encapsulation. Data hiding is a part of abstraction. Extendability is a part of inheritance. Overloading, overriding is a part of polymorphism. Like that, if we divide these 4 principles, we can make it 20 principles also. Okay. But according to object-oriented analysis and design, standard principles only 4. These 4 only, some books will get it 5 principles, some books 6 principles, some books 8 principles, like that, different people, different types they given. Okay. But according to object-oriented analysis and design, OOAD, according to OOAD, 4 principles only, standard principles. Okay. So in your academic, this is also one subject is there. OOAD, object-oriented analysis and design. CSC, CSIT students, they studied. BTech, CSC, CSIT student. Okay. MCA people also studied. It is one subject. It is only theory subject. Object-oriented analysis and design. In that, UML diagrams will be there. UML, Unified Modeling Language, that type. So, it is only theory subject. That theory applied to programming, that is only object-oriented programming language. So, first actually, C language first introduced. C language. When C language introduced, there is no encapsulation, there is no abstraction, this all. After a few days, object-oriented principles came. That principles they applied to C language, they given as C++. C++ nothing but C plus oops. That is C++. C++, it is not a complete new. C language plus oops, they combined, they given name is C++. You studied plus plus, it is increment operator. C language incremented with oops, that is C++. That is only C++. Okay. So C++ is not a new language. C language only enhanced with object-oriented principles. That is C++. It is increment version of C language. Whatever is there in C, that is there in C++ also. Additionally, we have oops. Okay. Like 1972 C came. 1979 oops came. 1983 C++ came. So first C came and exists in the market. After a few days, oops came. After a few days, these two combined, they released C++. After a few days, Java came. So C language 1972, oops 1979, just 7 years that is came. Within a 4 years gap, C++ came. Within a 12 years gap, Java came. Okay, like that, Java came and exists in the market. So C++ also object-oriented programming language. Java also object-oriented programming language. Given Java is an object-oriented programming language. What is an object-oriented programming language? Which supports all principles. What are the principles? Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. If any language that is supporting these four principles, that language is called object-oriented programming language. Okay. Some principles not supported by some language, those languages are called object-based language. But nowadays, maximum object-oriented. Okay. Object-oriented programming language. If you want to use these four principles, first of all, you require class and object. Write this one. In order to use the above principles, in Java programming, we need the following language constructs. First one, class. Second one, object. In order to use the above principles in Java programming, we need the following language constructs. In order to use the above principles in Java programming, we need the following language constructs. First one, class. Second one, object. So class and object are not principles, These two are called language constructs. Class is not a principle. Object is not a principle. Class and object are called language constructs. When principles came, these two not came, later came. Later. When principles came, that is only theory subject. That is applied to programming. While applying to programming, class and object concepts introduced. Okay. So here, class and object. First of all, you should know very depth about class and object. Then only you can understand principles. Okay. So in order to use the above principles in Java programming, we need the following language constructs, class and object. So first of all, you should study very depth about class and object. Then only these principles you can understand. Got it? So first what you have to learn? Principles you have to learn, class and object you have to learn. Class and object. Class and object, if you understand, then only principles you can understand. Okay. So first you need to learn class and object. Very depth you have to learn. Okay. Now, very depth you have to learn what is class, why do we need a class, where we have to write class, when we have to write class, how to write class. Same style, object. Okay. Like that, very depth knowledge required. See, you remember total Java depends on this topic only. Total Java depends on this topic. After completion of Java course also, student is unable to write Java program means he is not perfect in this topic. That's it. Okay. Say those who completed a Java course, still they are unable to write Java program. That meaning is not perfect in this topic. If you are perfect in this topic, then only you can write Java program. Now that's what here every minute important, every second important. You have to concentrate, you have to work hard. Little hard to understand this topic. But once if you understand, later you can enjoy coding. Okay, coding you can enjoy if you are perfect in this topic. That's what. Be regular in this topic, put efforts, work hard. Later remaining Java, nothing. Very simple. If you are not perfect here, remaining Java also becomes very difficult. That's it. Total Java depends on this topic only. Okay. Now, class and object, very depth you have to learn. First, what is class? Why do we need a class? Where we have to write class? When we have to write class? How to write class? These all we'll see. Next heading, class. A class is a collection of variables and methods. A class is a collection of variables and methods. Write this one. A class is a collection of variables and methods. Class definition. A class is a collection of variables and methods. Here, class contains variables. Class contains methods. About variables, little bit you studied. Only variable is a container which contains data, declaration, assignment, initialization. This is only you studied. Here, only variables 2-3 days it will take. That is without object-oriented programming you studied. Here with object-oriented programming. Okay. Now, first about class outlines I'll teach. After that, variables and methods. Present, you concentrate outlines of a class. Inside a class, variables, method, depth later. First, outlines of a class. Okay. Learning order is also most important for getting subject. So, first you concentrate on only outlines of a class. Variables, methods, later you'll see. Now, syntax. Note on. Syntax, class, class name. Here, data type, variable 1, data type, variable 2, like this, n number of data types you can write, n number of variables you can write. After that, return type, method name, argument 1, argument 2, n number of arguments, n number of statements, like this, n number of methods. It is syntax of a class. Just as it is, write it. As it is, write it. Say syntax of a class. This is syntax. Class, class name, open brace, data type, variable 1, data type, variable 2, n number of you can write. Methods, n number of you can write, close brace. Okay. Here, class is a keyword. Class is a keyword, but variable name, method name, and uh, class name, these all identifier. It is identifier. It is identifier. It is identifier. But class is a keyword. Primitive data types are keywords. Return type also primitive type if it is there keyword. Okay. These all very depth later we'll see. Present you concentrate on outlines of a class. Okay. Just write it. Here class is a keyword and it is used to create a class. Class is a keyword and it is used to create a class. Class name is an identifier. Class name is an identifier. Here class is a keyword and it is used to create a class. Class name is an identifier. Class name is an identifier. Here class is a keyword and it is used to create a class. Class name is an identifier. Say class, class name, open brace, close brace. Class, class name, open brace, close brace. We written. Class is a keyword. Keyword can be write in capital letters. Can we write? No. Keyword compulsory in lowercase letters, small letters only. Okay. Class name is identifier. Can I write capital letters? Small letters? Digits? Underscore symbol? How many symbols? 2 symbol. What are those? Underscore and dollar symbol. 2 symbols you can write. Can we write other than underscore and dollar? No. Can we write space? No. Identifier rules you studied? No. You have to follow. As well as class notation you studied. Notation. What is the notation of class? Notation. Java notations I given while teaching welcome program. Each word first letter is capital. Each word first letter is capital. That is also you have to follow. Identifier rules you follow. Notation also you follow. Each word first letter is capital and no space between words. This information I given already. Okay. See here you observe first class. It is a keyword. As it is small letters you have to write. Class name. You have to write identify. You have to follow identifier rules as well as Java notation. Each word first letter capital. These two you have to follow. Okay. These variables very depth later. Variables methods also separate. I'll explain. These outlines of a class. Now here inside the class data type variable 1, data type variable 2. Like that we'll write. Here return type, method name, what is method, what is argument, what is return type, I have to explain. That is not completed. Today you concentrate on outlines of a class. Okay. Data types you already studied. In Java, data types how many categories divided? Remember or forgot? 2 categories. What are those? Primitive data types, reference data types. Non-primitive called reference type. Okay, primitive, non-primitive. Non-primitive nothing but reference type. So primitive data types, reference data types. How many primitive data types are there? Those are subcategories. Okay, how many subcategories divided? 4. What are those? Integers, floating point numbers, characters, Boolean. In integers category, how many data types are there? 4. What are those? Byte, short, int, long. Floating point numbers, how many? What are those? Float and double. Characters category, 1. That is char. Boolean category, 1. That is Total how many primitive data types? 8. What are those once again? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. 8 data types. Okay. You have to remember compulsory. Compulsory. It is important. Okay. Primitive data types, 8 data types are there. What are the reference data types are there? Arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, dash dash, etc. There are many, but still you didn't study arrays, strings, class you are learning today. Okay, arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, enumerations, records, so many things are there. Okay, that's what I given dash dash, etc. Okay. Arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, enumerations, records, like this, many are there. But till you didn't study reference data types, you are learning today only. That is class. Class can I call data type? Yes or no? Yes, because in the reference data types list, class is there, no? It is reference data type. Class can also be called as reference data type. That will explain further. Now, here, class name, open brace, close brace. Okay. It is a keyword, compulsory you write small letters. It is a class name identifier. You need to follow identifier rules, as well as you need to follow Java notations. Open brace, close brace. Here data type. It can be primitive data type or reference data type. Any one data type. Variable. Variables also identifiers. Anything you can write, but you need to follow identifier rules. Okay, notations you have to follow. Methods not completed, later we'll see. What is return type, what is method, what is argument, so everything you'll see later. Present, what is class? Class is a collection of variables and methods. That is class. But why do we need a class? Where we have to write class? When we have to write class? How to write class? That is I'll explain. Suppose you have some information. Employee number 101, name of the employee, and salary of the employee. 102, name of the employee number, name of the employee, salary of the employee. Employee number 103, it is name of the employee, salary of the employee. Like this we have. Now you already studied literals. Remembered or forgot? Remembered? How many categories of literals? 6. What are those? Integer literals, floating point literals, character literals, string literals, boolean literals. Very good. Like this, I want response. Okay. Up to last class. Not 1 week, 2 days like that. Up to last class. Okay. Because end of the course, you should be able to write any Java program. That is my intention. Okay. Now, these are which category of literals? Which category? Integer literals. These all which category of literal? String literals. These all floating point literals. Clear? Okay. Very good. Here integer literals, string literals, floating point literals. Okay. Now, here what you have to do is this data. This data I want to maintain in a system through Java programming. This data I want to maintain in a system through Java programming. Then first of all, you require class. But first of all, this data, if you want to store in a system, there are so many softwares. But why Java? See, this data, if you want to store in a system, there are so many softwares in the market. MS Word is there. MS Excel is there. MS PowerPoint is there. MS Access is there. Oracle is there. There are so many software courses, so many softwares are there. Okay. This data, if you want to store in a system, there are so many softwares. There are so many softwares. In that, why we need to go for Java? Why we need to go for Java? Java especially made for internet applications. Java made for internet application. This data, if we maintain in a system through Java programming, the data can be anywhere in the world. The data you can access from any corner in the world. That purpose will go for Java. So why Java? Internet purpose only Java. Java booming in the market for developing internet applications only. Java introduced in the market for developing internet applications only. 1995, Java came and exists in the market to develop internet applications. That is released for internet only. It is popular for internet only. So 1995 onwards, 2023 also, Java #1 for developing internet applications. Java is not a competitor to C, C++. C purpose is different. Java purpose is different. Okay. C made for system software. Java made for internet applications. Developing system software, C only #1 till. Developing internet application, Java #1. Okay. So 95 onwards, 2023 also, Java position #1 for developing internet applications. Okay. Internet application purpose, #1 programming language, Java. In future also, how long internet will be there in the market? Up to that, Java will be there. Internet usage, will it decrease? Never. Day by day it will increase. Okay. In future also it will never decrease. See, in a family, 5 members are there, means 5 mobiles will be there, 5 internet connections will be there. Okay. All are using mobile. All are using internet. That much usage, internet usage. Okay. Every day, at least 1 hour they are spending on internet. Every person. Okay. And some people morning to night they are spending on internet only. Morning to night also. Okay. So internet usage in future never decrease. That much usage, internet. Okay. How long internet will be there in the market? Up to that, Java will be there. That much popular programming language, powerful programming language for internet. Okay. See, this data, if you want to maintain in a system, if you select Java, what purpose Java? Internet. Say, example, in your home PC, your photos, videos, audios, whatever is there, you uploaded in Facebook. Okay. Your home PC to Facebook server, you uploaded. Can you access from your mobile? See, your data can be anywhere in the world. You can access the data from any corner in the world. That purpose Java. That's what will go for Java. See, Facebook, that your home PC data, can you access from your mobile? No. But Facebook data you can access, no? So your home PC to Facebook you uploaded. That Facebook data you are accessing from mobile. But your home PC you are not going to access, no? Your home already in your home PC you have some data. That data can you access through mobile? No. But if you upload in Facebook, can you access? Yes. That means if you upload in internet, you can access worldwide. So that purpose Java. Your data can be anywhere in the world. You can access the data from any corner in the world. See, all internet applications only nowadays. Suppose banking. Suppose your account in Hyderabad, ICICI branch. ICICI one particular branch. Can you withdraw money from Bangalore? US? Anywhere. International banking also is there. International banking also is there. Okay. But currency different. But you can do bank transaction. International banking also is there. So your account can be anywhere in the world. You can access that account from any corner in the world. That type of application purpose Java. Okay. Then if you want to maintain this data through Java programming, first of all, you required class. Okay. Now, you observe. Example. Here, class. Class is a keyword to create a class. Class name. The class name must be related to the data. Suppose class name A. You can write In this A class, you can maintain employees data, but instead of writing A, better to write employee, no? Like that, you write class name. Class name should be related to your data. Okay. You can write employees information like this. Otherwise, employees. Otherwise, employee. Otherwise, EMP. Seeing that class name only, you should understand which type of data you are maintaining. That type class name you write. Meaningful data. Meaningful name. Okay. But class name is A, you are maintaining employee data. Class name is B, you are maintaining student data. Again, you have to remember A class for employee, B class for student. But instead of writing directly employee student, you can write no. That's what you follow. Okay. Based on your data, write class name. The word should be related to your data. The word should be related to your data. Suppose class name employee. Now, based on data, you have seen employee number 101. 101, it is an integer literal. Integer literal, if you want to maintain, how many data types are there? 4. What are those? Byte, short, int, long. Any one data type, int. Variable. Variable name also should be related to data. That is employee number. Something employee number. Like this you can write. Okay. Int employee number. Like this. So int employee number you can write. Now this is data type variable. Now after this name. Name which type? Name is string, but still I didn't explain strings. String is also one class. That word first letter capital. Now about this string very depth we'll study later, because string is a class, but you're learning class today only. Today only you're learning class, no? For understanding string, first class concept required. If you are familiar with class, then you'll understand string. That's what about string very depth later. Okay. Now string is a class, each word first letter capital, that's what is capital. Name, float, salary. Like this we can write. Okay. Say, based on data, 3 variables are written. Employee number, name, salary. Already you studied. Variable, second word onwards, first letter capital, no? Second word onwards, first letter is capital. No space between words. Java notations are given. Okay. That is also you have to follow. Now, employee number, name, salary. Employee number, int type. Name, string type. Salary, float type. I selected. After this, on this data, what are the operations you are going to perform? Based on that, you have to write methods. Suppose this data I want to accept from keyboard. Accepting, one method. I want to display on monitor, one more method. This data I want to send Hyderabad to US, send, one method. I want to receive one method. I want to calculate net salary, one method. I want to calculate bonus, 10% bonus, write one method. Like that. On this data, what are the operations you are going to perform? Those all you have to write like a methods. Methods I'll explain later. Present, just empty methods I'll write. Return type void, this is also I'll cover later. Suppose accept. Parameters also present I'm not writing. It is accept. It is also I'm not writing code also empty. Now next display, void display. Only method names I'm writing. Remaining all later. First outlines of a class required. Okay. Now this is like a method. See, based on data, I written class. Class name, open brace, close brace. And based on data, I written some variables. On that data, what are the operations you are going to perform? Accepting data from keyboard, displaying data on monitor. Like this. This code later. This is like a one class. First, write this example. Example. These are called variables. These are called methods. A class is a collection of variables and methods. A class is a collection of variables and methods. Is it over? Now, up to here, whatever I taught, I'll ask some questions, give me answer. Is Java object-oriented programming language? Yes. What is an object-oriented programming language? Which supports all the principles. How many principles are there? 4. What are those? Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. If you want to use these 4 principles in Java programming, what we require? Class and object. What is class? Collection of variables and methods. For creating class, one keyword we use. What is it? Class keyword. For creating class keyword only. Okay. Class name is keyword or identifier? Identifier. What is a class notation? Each word, first letter is capital and no space between words. What is the notation for variable? Second word onwards, first letter is capital and no space between words. Okay. Now, data types. How many categories of data types? 2 categories. What are those? Primitive data types, reference data types. How many primitive data types? 8. What are those? Byte. Okay. What are reference data types? Arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, dash dash. Okay. Arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, reference data types. And 8 primitive data types. 8 primitive data types, remaining all reference data types. Okay. Reference data types you didn't learn. Today you are learning. First one, that is class. Okay. Now, it is class. After creating class, see. One more thing. Object-oriented analysis and design. According to that, principles released. These principles are theoretical concepts. Theory, just a full-fledged theory. Applied to programming. Then object-oriented programming language came. So, what they did is, based on real-world examples, these principles introduced. These principles, they applied to programming. That is object-oriented programming. Based on real-world examples, principles came. Based on real-world examples. That principles, they applied to programming. Object-oriented programming. Now, what are the real-world examples are there? Those all applied to programming. That's what you take any book in the market, object-oriented analysis and design book, authors, they written hundreds of examples to understand. Otherwise, you cannot understand. So, this object-oriented programming, pure technical, if I teach, 50% students also may or may not understand subject. That's what authors also, they have taken many examples in the real world. With that, they explain. Then all are understanding. If I don't take any example in this class also, 50% students also may or may not understand. That is the reason I'll compare with general examples. Okay. Then you'll get a more clarity. Okay. If I teach pure technical, all students cannot understand because all people grasping power not same. So I'll compare with general example. Then you'll get a more clarity. Okay. See. Suppose here Just now I given 101 name of the employee, salary of the employee, 102 name of the employee and salary of the employee, 103 employee number, 103 name of the employee, salary of the employee, like this I given. Okay. Now here three employees data I want to maintain in a system through Java programming. For that, first of all, we require class. Okay. Now same style I'll compare with general example. Suppose your task is you want to construct three buildings. Just assume, understanding purpose. This is technical, this is general. Both I'll compare. You'll get 100% clarity in subject. Okay. See, suppose you want to construct three buildings. In each building, 2 bedrooms required, 1 hall required, 1 kitchen required. That is your task. Okay. See, 2 bedrooms, hall, kitchen. 2 bedrooms, hall, kitchen. This is your task. This is general. This is technical. Both I'll compare. You'll get a more clarity. Okay. Now, you want to construct three buildings. Three buildings you want to construct. Three buildings, same type. In each building, 2 bedrooms, hall, kitchen. Same type of buildings. Then, first of all, you require plan. Without plan, will they construct building? No. Okay. So, your requirement is three buildings you want to construct. Three buildings, same type. How many plans required? One plan and three plans. One plan. One plan enough? No. So, this requirement you will give to civil engineer. What he will do? He'll make a plan on paper. Okay. This requirement, whatever you require, that information you will provide to civil engineer. What he will do? He'll make a plan on paper. Okay. Now, this data you want to maintain in a system through Java programming. You'll go to Java programmer. What Java programmer will do? He'll create one class. He'll write in a file. So, this program you will write in a file. Suppose file name is emp.java. You'll write. Now, it is a file. That is a class. You observe, three buildings you want to construct, same type of buildings. You'll go to civil engineer. You'll give your requirements. You'll make a plan on paper. You'll provide that plan. Here, this data, if you want to maintain a system, you'll go to Java programmer. You'll create one class in a one file. That is, you'll create first. Here, file, their paper. Here, class, their plan. Okay. So, paper equivalent to here, file. Plan equivalent to class. Now, plan completed. Plan is completed. You have to start construction. Due to some reasons, you cancel to construct a building. Okay. Actually, your requirement is you want to construct a building. You approached civil engineer. He made a plan. Plan is completed. Everything is ready. Due to some reasons, you cancel to construct a building. Then what will happen? Plan wasted. Paper wasted. Engineer efforts wasted. Okay. And your money wasted. Whether you construct building or not, he'll charge money. We already plan completed. Okay. See, after making a plan, you must construct a building. If you don't construct a building, plan wasted, paper wasted, engineer efforts wasted, engineer time wasted, your money wasted. Everything is wasted. Same style, after creating a class, you must create object. If you don't create object, this class wasted, programmer efforts wasted, that file memory wasted, your time wasted, everything is wasted. So, object nothing like but building. Okay. Constructing a building, nothing but equivalent to object here. So, after making a plan, you must construct building. After creating class, you must create object. Okay. Plan nothing but here class. Paper nothing but file. Plan, it is our assumption, but it is not real, no? It is our assumption. How we are going to construct a building? It is just our assumption. How we are going to maintain data in a system? That is our assumption. We are presenting in a file. That is class. So this class will not occupy any memory. Plan will not occupy any space in the world. Only assumption. Okay, that is not real, no? Here class also like that only. But paper will occupy space in the world, but plan will not occupy any space in the world. Plan is our assumption, but building will occupy space in the world. Here object will occupy memory. Class will not occupy memory. File occupies memory. Okay, so this program you will write in a one file. Suppose file name emp.java. Like this write it. Like this write it. emp.java. So the total class we are writing in a one file emp.java. Okay. Now note down. Here class will not occupy memory. Here class will not occupy memory, whereas file occupies memory. Here class will not occupy memory, whereas file occupies memory. So memory allocated to file, memory not allocated to class. No memory for class. See, plan on paper, class in a file, that type. Plan on paper, plan will not occupy any space in the world. Class will not occupy any memory, but paper occupies space in the world. Like that, file occupies memory. Okay. Now, plan completed, you have to start construction. Your class completed, you have to create object. Okay. Next object. Note. An object is an instance of a class. An object is an instance of a class. An object is an instance of a class. Syntax to create an object. Syntax to create an object. Class name, object reference equal to new class name brackets. Class name object reference equal to new class name brackets. It is a dynamic memory allocation operator. Other operators, one operator, this is class name. It is called constructor. New is a dynamic memory allocation operator. Class name brackets. Class name brackets, if you write, it is called constructor. Class name and brackets, if you write, it is called constructor. What is constructor? I have to explain. Just write it as it is. Class name object reference equal to new class name brackets. Class name object reference equal to new class name brackets. New is a dynamic memory allocation operator. Class name brackets is a constructor. Class name brackets is a constructor. Is it over? In this line, first new executed. First example I'll give. Note on example. Example EMP E equal to new EMP. EMP E equal to new EMP brackets. Class name object reference equal to new class name bracket semicolon. Class name employee object reference E new as it is. Class name EMP brackets. So it is called dynamic memory allocation operator. It is called constructor. Next, write it. New is called as dynamic memory allocation operator, and it allocates a memory to variables at runtime. New is called as dynamic memory allocation operator, and it allocates a memory to variables at runtime. New is called as dynamic memory allocation operator, and it allocates the memory to variables at runtime. Say program we are going to compile. After that we are going to execute. Execution nothing but runtime. While running a program allocated. That's what runtime. Runtime nothing but dynamic time, dynamic memory. In C language, compile time memory allocation is there, runtime memory allocation is there. But Java only runtime, dynamic. While compiling, no memory. While running a program, memory allocated. Okay. So what this will do, see, new is called as dynamic memory allocation operator. So you studied operators, 9 categories of operators. Last category, other operators. In that, one operator. Okay. Now, what it will do is it allocates a memory to variables at runtime. While executing Java program, memory allocated. While executing Java program, while not compiling, while executing, execution time allocated. Okay. Variables. See, 3 variables we written. Employee number, name, salary. For these 3 variables, memory allocated whenever new executed. What this constructor will do? Constructs the object. So write it. Constructor constructs the object. Constructor constructs the object. Constructor constructs the object. Constructor constructs the object. See, if you write like this, EMP E equal to new EMP, if you write in this line, first of all, new executed. In that line, first of all, new executed. What that new will do is allocates a memory to variables. Like this, allocated. Employee number, name, salary. Like this, allocated. Here, employee number stored. Employee number 101. Name of the employee. Salary of the employee. Like this, stored. Constructor constructs the object. This is called object. It is called object. Say here, first right side executed, right side, right side executed. First new executed, new. It is a dynamic memory allocation operator. What it will do? It allocates the memory to variables. This is called constructor. Class name brackets is called constructor. Constructor constructs the object. Object created. Say in this line, what is EMP? Class name. What is E? Object reference. What is new? Dynamic memory allocation operator. What is EMP brackets? Constructor. But where is object? New constructor, if you write object created. The syntax to create an object. That is a syntax to create an object. Okay. So if you write like this, where is object? E is not an object. What is E? Object reference. E is not an object. Many people, they are calling E only object. That is wrong. Say, if you write like this, EMP is a class name. E is a object reference. New is a dynamic memory allocation operator. EMP brackets is a constructor. Like that. Okay. In this line, first what will be happen is new executed. In that line, first new executed. It is called dynamic memory allocation operator. It allocates a memory to variables. Employee number, name, salary, memory allocated. 101 name, 5000 stored. That constructor constructs the object. That is like an object. Object nothing but building in general. Okay. Say here, plan completed. After completion of plan, you must start construction. For construction, first place required, raw material required. Place required, raw material required. Place with raw material, it is constructed. Then we are calling like a building. This is we are calling like a building. After construction, are you calling this is raw material? No. Listen with more concentration. Don't concentrate on mobiles. If you concentrate on mobiles, no use. Attending class is wasted. No need to point out. Okay. No need to point out. Whether you are seeing mobile or not, you know very well. Okay. Now, here, class. After creating a class, you must create object. After making a plan, you must construct a building. Okay. After making a plan, you must construct a building. Now, where is building? Suppose this is a building. Before construction, it is called place. This is called raw material. But after construction, are you calling this is raw material? No. With the construction process, it is become as building. Okay. Here also, new. It's like a place. Constructor with raw material constructed. That is like a building. New constructor, object created. Place and raw material, building constructed. That type. Building constructed. After constructing that building, you have to register with GHMC. No? After constructing a building, you need to register with GHMC. Then they'll give a number. The number we are calling house number. You are calling no? Year. Year also object created. This object contains some address. Okay. This object contains some address. Suppose some number. Suppose this is address. But in Java, we should not call it as address because it is not a original address. If original address comes, many security issues comes. That's the reason address will not come in Java. Address mapped into another code. Address mapped into another code. So mapping they given. It is not original address. One number comes. The number is not original address. Address mapped into another code, security purpose. The number implemented with data structures hashing technique. That code is called hash code. So this is nothing but hash code. It is like a house number. Hash code. What is hashing? Everything I'll explain. Everything I'll cover. Okay, don't worry. Now, building constructed. That building has one house number. Okay. Object created. That object has hash code. Object has hash code. Okay. Now, building registered with GHMC. This hash code stored in E. Here, it is just nothing but registration. It is nothing but registration. That number stored here. See this number I am writing here. It is registered. It is hash code. Now, here, this number, it is stored in E. This number stored in E. That number we cannot predict which number comes. Now, present I given like this. Further, what I'll do, instead of writing numbers, I'll write one arrow. This arrow meaning this object hash code stored here. The arrow meaning this hash code stored there. Present I given numbers also, arrow also. But next diagram onwards, numbers I won't write, only arrow I'll write. The arrow meaning this hash code stored there. This building registered with GHMC. That is like a GHMC, this is like a building. Okay. Now, here, after constructing a building registered with GHMC. This building is in records, GHMC records. This object hash code maintained there. That is object reference. Now, but object reference only people are calling like a object. That is not a object. That is object reference. See, one best example to understand. House number. House number is a number or house? House number is a number or house? Number only, no? Object reference is a reference or object? Reference. It refers object. Object reference. It refers object. So it is called reference only. It is not a object. Vehicle number, house number, like that. Number refers house, house number. Number refers vehicle, vehicle number. The reference refers object, object reference. Reference refers array, array reference. Reference refers string, string reference. Like that we'll call further. Object reference, array reference, string reference, enumeration reference, record reference, references. So that E is not a object. E is a reference. Is it clear? Write the diagram. See, whatever you studied up to yesterday different, today onwards different. No? You need to put more efforts. This is actual Java. Actually, we have to start Java from here. Because non-IT students will be there. That's what we started Java fundamentals also. Like a C language. So actual Java today class. Today onwards actual Java. Just as it is write it. Notes I'll give. Here, object contains data. Object reference contains hash code. Object hash code only, object reference contains. Object hash code only, object reference contains. Building house number only registered in GHMC. like that. Object address only placed here. Object hash code placed in object reference. What object contains, what object reference contains. Object contains data. Object reference contains hash code. Okay. Is it completed diagram? Writing is over. No done. Every object has an address, comma. That address mapped into another code, and that code implemented with hashing technique. Then that code is called as hash code. About hashing later we'll see. Every object has an address, that address mapped into another code, and that code implemented with hashing technique. Then that code is called as hash code. Object contains data, and object reference contains hash code. Object contains data, and object reference contains hash code. Object contains data, and object reference contains hash code. Object contains data, and object reference contains hash code. Say, in C language and C++ language, you will get an address. But in Java, address will not come. Address mapped into another code, that code implemented with hashing technique, that code is called hash code. So in the place of address, hash code comes. Security purpose changed. Say, and security purpose only, pointers are removed. Say, in C language, pointers concept is that is removed in Java. Say, in total C language, which is most difficult topic? Pointers. Which is most important topic? Pointers. Okay, it is heart of C language. The main part. That heart is removed by Java people. Okay, the main part only removed. See, C language, most important topic, pointers. And Java, that pointer concept only removed. Main part only removed, you observe. Main topic only removed. Because Java is not a competitor to C. Java especially made for internet. In internet, pointers are there, security issues comes. Say, with pointers, security problems comes. See, for example, you take any internet application, Gmail or Google Classroom, whatever you take, Yahoo, Gmail, Facebook, internet banking, internet, any application you take. If you want to access confidential data, compulsory you need to enter username, password. No? Any internet application, data is confidential. That data, if you want to see, you must enter username, password. Always username, password. See, how many accounts you created in the internet? So many, no? You forgot passwords also, no? So many are there like, okay? So every application, username, password, every day. You are creating, you are forgetting also. It's happening. Okay? Like that, those many accounts in internet. Data is confidential. If you want to see, compulsory username, password. Here, pointers removed. Reason, security issues comes. With pointer, address we can find out. Address. Password, address also we can find out. Through address, password also we can find out. That is the reason Java people removed pointers. With pointers, security issues comes. That is the reason Java developers removed pointers. Otherwise, why they'll remove? Most important topic C only. Pointers only in C. That is only removed by Java people. Okay. See, with the pointers in system software, we can develop compilers, interpreters, operating system, database management system, browsers, servers. These all we can develop with pointers. But these all not possible to develop with Java because no pointers. That's what still C is not outdated. C made for that, it is popular for that. Java made for internet, popular for internet. Like that. Okay. Here security issues comes. That is the reason Java developers removed pointers. Okay. That's what your original address you will not get. You will get a hash code. You will get a hash code. Okay. Now, object created, that hash code stored in object reference. Object created, that object reference contains hash code. Suppose I'll write new EMP. I'll write. If I write like this also object created, only new EMP. Then what will happen? New. It allocates the memory. Online students, listen the class. End of the session, I'll clarify your doubts. It is not one-to-one session to clarify immediately. See, new allocates the memory. Okay. See, new allocates the memory. Again, employee number, name, salary. Suppose 1 or 2. Name of the employee. Something salary of the employee. No, this is one object. It is another object. This object contains some hash code. This is some hash code. But this hash code not maintained. This hash code is there, but not maintained because we didn't write reference. Object created without object reference. Building constructed, not registered in GHMC. That type. That type of buildings also are there in Hyderabad. Many are there. Okay. Building is there, but it is not registered in GHMC. Your object is there, that is not referred by reference. This type of object is called anonymous object. We can also call unreferenced object. Write this one also. Anonymous object or unreferenced object. New constructor, only if you write like this. If you write like this also memory allocated. New constructor if you write object created. Write this diagram also. So see, today maximum theory you have seen. Tomorrow maximum programming. Okay. But whatever I taught, you have to remember. With this only you can understand program. So new constructor if you write object created. That object not referred by reference. That's what it is called unreferenced object. We can also call anonymous object. Anonymous object or unreferenced object you can call. Is it over? So new, it is a dynamic memory allocation operator. It allocates the memory to variables, employee number, name, salary. Employee brackets, it is a constructor, constructs the object. This object has hash code. This hash code. But this object hash code not maintained because there is no reference to maintain. This type of object is called unreferenced object. We can also call anonymous object. Okay. So we can also create object without object reference possible. Suppose if I write like this, if I write only EMPE, if I write here, is it object created? No. What is created? Object reference created. Object reference created. Now, previously already you studied what object contains, what object reference contains. Object contains data. Object reference contains. But here, object is not there. Building is not there. House number will be there? No. Building is not there. House number will not be there, no? That's what it contains null. It contains null. This is called object literal. If hash code is not there, object literal will be there. So, object is there, hash code will be there. Object is not there, null will be there. Null is called object literal. 6 categories of literals, no? This is object literal. This is object literal. 6 categories of literals. Last category, object literal, null. It contains null. So you can create object reference without object also. If you create, it contains null. Null is nothing but object literal. Okay. Now I'll ask some questions. Give me an answer. Suppose 10 buildings I want to construct. 10 buildings. In that, 3 buildings one type, 7 buildings one more type. Then how many plans required? 2 plans required. Okay. 5 employees data I want to maintain. 100 students data I want to maintain. How many classes required? 2 classes. Employees purpose 1 class, students purpose 1 more class. Like that. Okay. Now, after suppose the what is object? Object definition I given. Instance of a class. Instance of a class. See what is the word instance here? I'll explain. Suppose this building. This is a building. This building I'm showing as well as 10 plans I'll give. 10 plans. This building based on which plan constructed in the 10. Can you identify? Yes or no? Building I'll show you. Plans I'll give. The building based on which plan constructed. Can you identify or not? Yes. This building is a instance of that particular plan. That building is an instance of this particular plan. That is a word instance. Here, object is an instance of employee class. This object is an instance of employee class. This object is an instance of student class. This object is an instance of branch class. Like that. That type we'll call word instance. Okay. Same. Can we create object without object reference? Without object reference. Yes. The type of object is called anonymous object. We can also call unreferenced object. Can we create object reference without object? That object reference, what it contains? Null. Null is called object literal. Object literal. Object reference contains hash code or null. Object is there, hash code. Object is not there, null. Like that will be stored. Okay. This is about class and object outlines. Just outlines. Okay. Like these all points, every point you have to remember. Every point you have to remember. What is class? What is object? Will it class occupy memory? Will it file occupies memory? Will it object occupies memory? Object reference? That is I didn't given. Okay, that point note down. Object occupies memory and object reference also occupies memory. Object occupies memory and object reference also occupies memory. Object occupies memory. Object reference also occupies memory. What object contains? Data. What object reference contains? Hash code. Okay. You remember each and every point. What is class? Collection of variables and methods. What is object? Instance of a class. Will it class occupy memory? Will it file occupies memory? Will it object occupies memory? Object reference. What object contains? What object reference contains? What is new? Dynamic memory allocation operator. What it will do? It allocates the memory to variables. Okay. Class name and brackets is called constructor. What constructor will do? Constructs the object. Constructs the object. Object reference is a reference or object? Reference. Can we create object without object reference? The type of object is called anonymous object or unreferenced object. Can we create object reference without object? What it contains? Null is called object literal. Okay. These all remember. Whatever I explained, general plan, building, these all only understanding purpose. Okay. But in interview, what is class means? Class is a plan, object is a building, like that don't give. Okay. That is no one will accept. Only for understanding. Okay. Technical answer only or to give. We'll see continuation tomorrow. Don't forget these all points. For tomorrow class again required. Tomorrow we'll see continuation. Online students, just wait 2 minutes. I'll clarify your doubts. Online students, wait 2 minutes. I'll clarify your doubts.